Welcome back to the Minority Men Show. We are in the ninth inning stretch?
Seventh inning.
Seventh inning?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Last minute touchdown pass.
Yeah. And, it's been a good show so far, and now we're going to be talking about Tiana Parker out of Oklahoma. She was a student at the Deborah Brown Community School, and she had some problems over there. They changed their hair policy. They thought that they had fad hairstyles such as afros, locks, and what was the other one?
Mohawk braids, anything cultural.
Yeah, basically. And so they decided to say that this was unprofessional. And if you go to our Facebook page, you can see a picture of Tiana Parker, and you can judge for yourself whether she looks unprofessional or not. And
too young to be concerned about her professionalism. I think she looks just fine. And
I thought it was sad because I saw the interview she had with Fox 23 out of Tulsa, and she was just crying her bawling her eyes out, man. It was just sad that this little girl has to go through something like this at a young age, but it's going to affect her for the rest of her life. You know that, right? This is not older, or I have a feeling that because of her parents being so concerned about this and backing her and being in support of her, this will make her a stronger person as an adult. But time will tell. But I just wanted to go around to the panel and let's get your first thoughts about this whole situation. I want to start off with the ladies because this is a ladies issue.
Well, I think that hair is a very personal subject. I think that African American hair has a lot of special sort of meaning for. I'm not an African American female, but I certainly have heard plenty of people have conversations about it, and I know that there's a very strong sense of self-identification that's associated with it. And I think that it was pure prejudice on the school's part to basically say, okay, you can't have an afro or dreads. Well, that's like telling an Irish redhead that she can't have red hair. That's like saying get rid of the freckles. I mean, it's essentially an ethnicity. It's essentially a component of one's ethnicity. And to tell them that it needs to be altered for the sake of a dress code, to me, is at a minimum, incredibly insensitive, and at a maximum, just pure racist.
Well, so the Deborah Brown. I'm sorry, my mic, is it okay?
Deborah Brown Community School.
So they call it the DBCS school. Yes.
That's right,
so
DBC.
That is, it is a black school. It's a charter school in Oklahoma.
Yep, and that's
I don't know, sorry to disagree with you, Anne-Marie.
Not at all.
It's not like a redhead having red hair, because to lock a black girl's hair, it is a process. So it's not like her hair is naturally like that. It is a process that it takes. Honestly, my first reactions to it is, why would they lock a little girl's hair? I just feel like locking. I used to have my hair locked.
Can you define what that is for me?
So locking, those are dreadlocks, and
right.
it's when you
put
your hair, you bind it so that I feel like it's not free. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like you shouldn't do that to a little girl's hair. It's a process. It takes time. It doesn't lock overnight. It takes it depends on the texture of your hair. It takes longer to lock or whatever. But anyways, so for the school to say that she can't have locks, I think it's their right, because it's that uniform. They have a strict uniform, and it's part of. I felt like it was part of their right. But then when I saw the news response to her reaction to it, most of the time when I see little kids with locks, I'm thinking their parents have locks too, so they lock their kids' hair because it's part of, it may be part of their religion or whatever. But she really loved her hair like that. That was her hairstyle. So when I saw her reaction, it changed my reaction and said, she likes her hair like that. She's proud of it. And locking your hair is a process. It takes time. You have to be patient. So she was proud of how she looked. And at the end of the day, the father did pull her out of that school.
And what you saw from the news report, it's not like her father had a fade. So it's not like he was locking his hair.
Yeah, but you don't know if her mom did.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But, like I said, like I'm saying is, at least from the father's perspective, it's not like he was like, you need to lock your hair. You know what I mean? He was, he had his own hairstyle. She has her own hairstyle. She obviously loves her hairstyle. And they didn't have a problem with that hairstyle, according to her father, the year before. So
we know something else is the reason why.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they accrued 19,000 signatures in about a week for a petition calling for the school to publicly apologize to Parker and change its policy. 19,000 signatures in the Oklahoma area.
Wow.
Yeah, in a very short time.
Struck a nerve, huh?
Yeah.
Think it struck a nerve? Just
Struck a nerve in that
nerve?
community. It definitely struck a nerve in the community.
I'm really curious to know what was the feedback that you received.
Well, I think that when I posted my sort of displeasure with the school's decision on Facebook, several people responded back and defended the school. Basically saying, they have every right to set a dress code, and like anybody with a uniform, you can, if you have a uniform or if there is a dress standard, then the authority has the right to try to enforce that standard. Now that you've enlightened me a little bit about my comparison not being accurate, I still sort of feel like, to me, I'm not a member of the black community, so I'm not somebody that is able to speak with any real authority on the politics of black hair.
But since we're in the business of talk,
you're in the business of talk, you ask my opinion. My opinion is that, I, as a Caucasian female, think that, black hair is black hair, and it seems like there's a lot of work that goes into it, and that it has different meanings for different people. And, like you said, it could have been for religious reasons. It could have been because that is the predominant style. It could be because that's what she liked. It could be because, her parents made a decision about the practicality of having, locks, in terms of, getting the kid up and out the door. I don't know what went on behind it, but I have seen some, white people with dreads. Don't look too good, but, that's my opinion. But it doesn't seem to me culturally to be a predominantly white style or a white trend. So for me, I immediately, responded to what I thought was an inherent racial bias, because it is such an ethnically...
even though it's from a black school?
Even though it's from a black school, because, it's really about authority, and it's about, why is it that something that is so culturally associated with an African American, would be inhibited. Go ahead.
And we have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to the Minority Men Show.
Hi. I just wanted to make my opinion on this known, considering that it's something that I've been looking into, and I've been researching the school itself. I'm noticing that they had an issue with her hair. However, they have administrators, actually one of the teachers, Mr. Tyrone Cook, he's got...
Dang, call him out,
right
call him
now.
out. He has what?
He has dreads formed right now, or what's it called? He has the twists that are going to become dreads.
Wow.
Tyrone Cook.
Baby dreads? He's got baby dreads?
Yeah, he's got the baby dreads, you're saying?
Yeah, and he's starting up, so how is there an issue with a young woman having that, and then he's okay, and he's one of the actual people on the board?
Do as I say, not as I lock.
Do as I say, not as I lock. I just think that it's something else that we're not hearing. There's another issue that's going on, that they're just using this as a scapegoat.
Do you think that there's something personal between the parents and the administration?
Yeah, I think, or something may have happened in the school, and this is their way of whitewashing it and just kind of getting rid of the students themselves. Because there are other students that are in, pictures actually present on the website that have braids. I can't tell if it's a girl or a boy, but they look, if not nastier than the ones that she has. If that's how they're going to describe it, they look worse.
Yeah, because hers aren't even thick locks. They just look like braids. Worn
they
braids,
look like
she
her
went
mom
swimming a
twisted
couple
it.
of
It's a
times.
protective hairstyle.
One of the things I can't...
But check you out, knowing, having knowledge about black hair, protective hairstyle.
One of the things I totally disagree with, and I would like the caller to stay online, is the parent, is the father. Now, why pull her out? I would have kept her in there. That would gain her strength and confidence in who she is. Now, every time that somebody attacks you, you're going to keep pulling her away.
because it was banned. So that's like a suspension. She didn't have dress code. That's like if you go to a Catholic school and you had your skirt supposed to be below your knee. It was above her knee. That you're gonna get suspended, detention, something punitive.
And plus, she's losing school time.
And she's an A student.
Yeah, exactly. He need to keep her learning. So
but he got a solution out of it. I mean, they changed their policy, but he made a statement and moved to another school.
Yeah, he was like, I don't want nothing to do with y'all anyway, so I'm gonna keep it moving. But
well, the thing is, though, and this is what I see. One, it may have not even have been the dreads. It may have been maybe the flower in her hair that's present in the picture. It could have been an attitude that the father had with the teacher, or didn't like one of the grades that was giving, or something. It could have been completely different, and they, again, used hair as a scapegoat. But the other thing is, leaving your child in school, having her serve at that age as a matriarch to the cause, having her be that voice, that person, that face, to the fact that we can stand up to certain oppressions regardless of what the race is. It's a bit much when you're a parent. You got to think, this is my child.
Okay.
You make a valid point. At the same time, the children, sometimes some children have to grow faster than others, and it's unfortunate. But at the same time, this is a situation where, it's not like he threw her out to dry and it's like, yeah, at the end of the day, you're on your own. He obviously had her back, and she has support, and people that care about her and love her and say, there's nothing wrong with your hair. Don't listen to this nonsense that's coming from the school. That's why we're going to put you in this other school, and you're going to continue to learn.
Well, I totally get that, but then you got to think about it like, you're going to work. You get fired. You have people fight for you to get back to the job. Now, they've been fighting you the entire time. You actually get your job back. Is it going to be a happy-go-lucky situation, or is there always going to be that undertone that I'm not completely comfortable with you being here and vice versa?
I think what's most significant about the whole situation is the amount of outcry that it elicited from the general public. And I think that the fact that so many people got passionately moved to sign a petition or to speak out about it means that there were that many more people who had an opinion about it but didn't necessarily take the action step of signing the petition. Do you know what I mean? Think about how difficult it is to motivate anybody to do anything, And so if you had 19,000 people in a community that were willing to, take a stand for the sake of having an opinion about that, how many more people had a similar response and just didn't, go that final step.
See, one thing is, I feel like if they would change the name from dreadlocks.
But before you get into that, public, hey, caller, thank you for the call, and thank you for calling in Minority Men Show.
All right, thanks.
My problem with the terminology, if you're going to call it dreadlocks, initially it's a dreadful thing. So that word within itself, it makes people wary of the presence of the hair. If it's locked, if you bring it back to maybe, a historical point of view, then it will be appreciated more. So I think the word itself gives it a presence, like it's a negative connotation. Correct, absolutely. So let's start by saying, let's stop saying dreadlocks and just start saying locks.
Yeah, they are locks. They are locks. I think
wasn't
it the English that first started calling it dreadlocks?
Yeah. So what happened was the settlers, because the individuals, they looked different. It was like, oh, that's a dreadful person, because they really couldn't see their face. So it became this negative connotation, saying it's dreadful, but it's really.
I never knew that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think with that being said, if individuals would stop saying dreadlocks, then it would be more acceptable, and then people would be like, oh, okay, she just has locks, so it's not as bad, instead of dreadlocks,